All right, today we're going to go back and we're going to see if we can unleash more power to our XMR rigs. In particularly, what we want to look at is this XMR rig 5-i3. And if we compare that to the rig 6i3 over here, we notice that this is 1.41 kilohash a second and this is 1.84 kilohash a second. This is kind of misleading because this is our pay rate, but if we actually want to look at the raw hash rate, we can. And if we click on that, we notice it goes down to 717 and 942. Now, these are basically identical machines. The only difference is that this rig over here that does the 942 has dual channel RAM, and then this XMR rig over here has single channel. So we can tell there is a small difference like in that. So what we want to do today is we want to see if we can unleash some of the power of this i3 over here. And we're going to use some techniques that TechZetti put on my channel and said, hey, you need to try this and that. So let's go in, take a deeper dive on that and see what we can figure out. All right, so I went ahead and logged into my box through SSH, and I already ran the XM rig up here. So down here, and this is what TechZetti was telling me to do. If we look at the huge pages and we see supported, and then we see 1 gig page disable, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to enable that to unleash some more power and to get more hash rates out of that. The second thing that we're going to end up doing is down here where it says fail to apply MSR mod, hash rate will be low. This is another thing that we got told to do, and we can sit there and get this turned on by just running sudo. So I'm really going to do this in like 2 parts. It's going to be in the same video. The first part is I'm going to run this in sudo to turn on the MSR mode. And we're going to see how much difference in the hash rate that makes. And then after we like record the differences, then we're going to go back and then we're going to turn on the 1 gig pages. So if all that sounds good to you, stay with me and we'll get right to it. All right. So I went ahead and ran the XMR rig in sudo, and we did this to make sure the MSR mod is turned on. And that way we can improve our hash rates. So if we go down here and look down, we notice we don't have the MSR mod warning that says the hash rate will be lower. So we know that it is turned on because we're not getting that warning. The second thing, just what I want to point out is that this up here, this information is the same, but I do want to point out that the memory up here, which shows us we have 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM in the DIMM slot, and we also have 35% of our total RAM being used. So this does give us additional information on the RAM usage as well. With that said, we'll just continue to let this run, and then we'll see how much hash rate we'd improve based off this small change. All right, so we're back. We're looking at the XMR rigs. So if we look at the rig 5i3 here, we notice that we're now at 965 hash rates per second. So if you remember, before it was like 717 hash rates per second. So this is over a 200 hash rate second increase, and that's just by running the sudo command and making sure that the MSR MOD is turned on. I did expect it to go up a little bit, so I am a little bit surprised that we went up 200 hash rates per second. It's a big increase, and I'm happy with it. So let's turn on the other tweak and then see if we turn on huge page support, if we get more hash rates per second. So let's test that out. All right, so we're back and we're going to enable the huge pages. So before we get started, I want to hit H. And what H is going to do is it's going to show us our CPU information and it's going to show us our hash rates. So you notice we're getting 905 hash rates a second coming from the box currently. So we're going to sit there and see if we can improve that. All right, so we'll log back in, and what I want to show you here, this is our typical command that we have been running, but I added this dash dash RandomX dash 1 GB dot pages in my line. So what that's going to end up doing is that's going to double ensure that we're going to use the 1 GB pages. So if I hit enter now, what's going to happen is it's going to ask me for my password because I'm in sudo. So I'm going to type that in. And then once I type that in, we notice that 1 GB pages is now supported. So we're going to go down here. Everything's reading normally like it should. And we're going to go down here and then we're going to let this run for a few minutes and then we're going to check the hash rates. All right, so I'm back and looking up here at our hash rates. Now we notice our max now is 911.7, which is faster than the 905, 906 that we were getting before we enabled huge pages. So this is a minor increase, you know, 5 or 6 different hash rates. That's 5 or 6 that we didn't have before. So I'll count this as a win. Now, it's not as big as a win as when we enabled the MSR, because that was a huge increase. I was hoping for a little bit better increase than this, but you know, every hash rate counts. So, you know, I will add this to my other boxes and just see how it goes from there. If I had a bigger processor or a better processor, I might see a better hash rate improvement, but only time's going to tell, you know, with that.